Hello, Mattie Singleton.
Hello, Indrani.
Hi, my friend. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm so good, and I'm so thrilled to talk to you.
Oh, well, thank you. I'm excited to be here, and I'm excited for what you're doing. I really am. I think it's terrific.
Thank you. It's fun talking to actors. What could be better than that?
Nothing.
Nothing, exactly. Thank you. I question you, nothing. Okay, I have a question for you that I ask every single guest.
Okay.
To start. Why acting?
Because I like to transform myself into other characters. You know, I just feel like I have these characters inside of me, and when I act, I can bring these different people out in me. Not that I'm Sybil or anything. It's just...
Well, maybe you are.
Yeah, maybe. Keep them tucked in. But that's why I love acting, and I love to entertain people. I love to make people laugh, and so that's why I like acting. You know, just to be someone else, because when you put on hair and makeup and clothes, you know, it brings out a different side of you that you don't normally do every day. Yes. And so it keeps life interesting. And then when you're working on a character, you get to go into this whole world all by yourself. You get to create a person, you know, from the time they're born and their parents and why they have these crazy feelings. And so for me, it's very entertaining just to do the work. For me, doing the work is the most important, because then when it's filmed, then you see this whole other transformation, or people see you and they'll say, "Oh, that was you?" And I said, "Yeah, because you don't normally see me with hair." But you know, it's that whole thing. It's that whole thing, you know, just giving something to someone else. And if anything I do, if it can help someone, then it makes me feel good.
Have you ever, see, that brings me to a great question. Have you ever done a piece or project of some kind where it directly affected someone and you were able to get that back to you, receive back, where they said, "Oh man, you wouldn't believe"?
Yes.
What was it?
My show. I wrote the show and I perform it. And it's the first time I performed it, some lady was crying. I asked her, I knew who she was. I said, "Why were you crying?" Because I thought it was funny. And she says, "No," she said, it touched her. Oh. She said it woke her up. And then I've had people say they've gotten rid of friends and some of their bad habits. So that makes me feel good. That makes me feel good that I could give that to them.
So I've seen your one-woman show. You know, and it really, it's pretty special stuff. What made you write it and decide to do it?
Well, I thought it was funny. I mean, I thought it was funny.
All your pain and suffering, it's hilarious.
Because I didn't get caught up into the drama of it all. And I realized that if I just go with the flow, that I can. And since I had some downtime in 2020, I said, well, you know, I couldn't sit around and do nothing. So I decided to write this piece.
So it was a pandemic piece.
Yeah. But I had thought about it years ago, even when I was studying with Aaron, when I met you. Yeah. I had thought about writing, but I never thought I could write. And then I just wrote it. And it was interesting because when you write, you have to really go inside yourself and really pull things out. And so I found it beneficial. I found it helpful. But it made me a better person.
Oh, that's great.
You know, when you write, it made me a better person, and to perform it. But even acting made me a better person because I had to look inside. Aaron was such a great teacher for me that I had to go inside and look at myself. And then once you know yourself, you can be other people when you have to.
The mirror
is
held up.
Yeah. And so, yeah, that's why I started writing it. And then I said, well, I might as well do this. And then it's fun to perform it because I had to create the characters. I said, I could just stand up here and say this. But then, you know, each thing was a character and it had a different personality. And I'm like, oh yeah, this is fun, you know? It's just the simplest things. And even children who have seen it, younger kids have seen it. And they're mesmerized by that show, and they said, "Oh, I want more." So, yeah, there you go.
Are you going to expand on it?
Yes, yes. Because it's one thing when something happens to you, but when it transforms your life, people want to know how. Because some people are still want to know how they can do this. You know, how they can stop drinking or eating candy or sugar and all that stuff. And you know, it's a will. You have to will it, and it became kind of like a game. It was a challenge. And I said, well, really, after 3.5 months, I looked at myself. I didn't have crow's feet anymore. I didn't have wrinkles. I'm very vain.
Yes, darling. We must maintain.
Yeah, I mean, that's what keeps you is being, you know, vanity, good vanity, you know. I don't think I'm any better than anyone else, but there's a standard that I have for myself. So I always just say, oh yeah, I'm vain. And I'm like, I'm not going to look like that.
Is there anything that you wrote in your piece where you're like, maybe I shouldn't put this in there? Or it kind of scared you to put it out in the public forum like that?
Yeah. The party, me having a party with my treats.
Yeah.
You know, like, you know, people really think I'm crazy, or, you know, flipping upside down in a jail, you know, what are people going to, but then I thought, what do I care?
Right.
But that in itself, because when I gave up drinking and sugar and I became a vegan pretty much, people criticized me. They criticized me for doing it. They said, oh, why are you doing it? Or you won't be able to do that. Or so I didn't care. But I tell you, this is fun. My dad and I laughed about it. He was laying in hospice. And he said, what keeps you so, he said, you're always so happy and you're always so youthful. And I said, it was those damn vitamins you used to talk about me. He said, that's why.
That's hilarious.
He laughed and I did too. I said, well, see? He said, well, keep on, you know. So it was just a funny little thing between us. But pretty much before I wrote it, I kept it to myself. You know, when I'm doing something, I keep it to myself. I don't expose it and ask 20,000 people, you know, what do you think about it? And then I'm in a writing group, the WPA, and so during the session, I would read it, and like sometimes they wouldn't understand, and then I would kind of I didn't get irritated. That would make me go in deeper. And even before,
Because maybe you were just being a little cautious, a little safe. Yeah.
well, yeah, it was like you know, doing the society thing. What's going to be accepted?
Polite society.
Yes. And I'm polite, but I'm not that polite. So I'm thinking, who am I trying to fool?
What am I?
You know?
What am I doing?
Yeah. So I think acting, you have to be very truthful to yourself first, and then the world can see the truth that you're trying to display. And my director, she when we were rehearsing, she would give me direction, and then I would come back the next day or the next time we met, and she's like, "Oh my God, you have a whole new character. You have a whole," because she said something about the M&Ms, and so then I just danced them.
It's great.
You know, it's just something that just comes out.
Creativity.
Yeah, and it's just, I just love it. I just love it. And I love it because I have my own freedom. I don't have someone telling me. And my director and I work well together. I listen to what she says. Mm-hmm. But you have your own freedom of doing whatever you want. And I think that's one of the important things in acting, to be free. Even if no one else likes it, you have the freedom to do what you want to do. Either they'll accept it or they won't.
On that note, Thank you, Mattie. Yes. I was like, that's too good. Oh, God, that was great. I was like, oh, that's a great way to end this beautiful interview.